Alright, how's everybody doing tonight? Good. My name is Jason Van Wyken, and I am president of the Alumni Association. And let me say, it is an honor to introduce this man. But I want to kind of tell you guys a little bit about the Alumni Association. One of the privileges I've had over the years as a student and now with the Alumni Association is to talk with our alums about their past, about their experience at Penn, and their journey throughout their life. And it's really been a telling story. Everybody has different paths, how they get here and when they leave. And with Andy is our executive vice president on the Alumni Association. He is in the class of 1979.
That is correct.
He has been a PE teacher and wrestling coach for 35 years at Davidson Grimes. He is past president of Sigma Phi Sigma fraternity, and he's also working on a project with the Alumni Association to give our family of our alums more opportunities. This past year, Andy organized and set up the Endowed Scholarship Fund with the Alumni Association. So it's an honor to introduce him. He's a great friend. He's somebody that has great love for the college, fellow alums and students. So without further ado, Andy Davidson.
You know, Stacy, about a month or so ago, contacted me about find somebody to talk about, if somebody possibly graduated is at risk, or maybe has a learning disabilities, that type of thing, struggled through school, and then went on and had a pretty good career. I said, well, 2 out of those criteria, I could make I struggled through school. So that's why I'm here. And I think tonight, in the next half hour, everyone in the room can find something that you can implement in your life to help you reach your goals. And if you have some kind of barrier, help you to overcome those, okay? I like to have fun. I brought the chocolate, okay? And that's one of my goals also. So if you can leave tonight with one thing, one idea, then I'd be happy, because you can't remember it all. Well, when you hear somebody talk, you remember like 30% of what they say anyway. So I like music, and I like slides. I like to keep mixing it up. I was telling you in the background, I said, when I was a student, even today, if I sat out there where you're at, and I had that background, my eyes are going to that. I mean, I'm seeing cartoon characters, I'm spelling words, and Mr. Magoo's in there, I'm sure he is, you know. So hopefully I can keep your attention tonight, and we can have some fun. You got your chocolate. Chocolate's good, okay? Well, first thing I want you to learn, chocolate's help learning. Believe it or not, science says that, okay? All about the glucose chocolates, provide food for the brain, makes you feel happy, and all that kind of stuff. So that's not the big thing tonight, but I like chocolate. And there's a bunch up front here, so we gotta make sure we eat it all before we leave. Okay. I go by AD, so call me that. That's fine. My students call me Mr. Davidson, but you're not my students, you can call me AD. I grew up in Greenwood, Indiana. I was a young man over here from Louisiana. In 1975, when I came to school, the speed limit was 55 miles per hour. That was a national law. Can you imagine driving 55? I don't even drive across the street unless 55 miles per hour anymore. It took about 8-9 hours to get here, and I went to school at Wayne Penn in the fall of 1975. 4 years I never had a car, I never had a TV set, and I never had a stereo. And I had the time of my life. That's a fact. And I got some my students from high school advisories a couple years ago. They were going off to college, they were talking about the big screen this and the big stereo that and their Xbox that, and they got all over. And I told them that, and they looked at me and go, man, what did you do? Got out of my room. What I did was nothing to do in my room, so I got out of my room and met people. I got on some committees, and I wasn't in school politics or anything in high school, but kind of got involved that way a little bit. I joined a fraternity, Sigma Phi Sigma, and my lifetime friends are from William Penn University. Graduated here in '79, got my master's degree from Viterbo University in 2009. You can do the math, it took me about 30 years, there's no big hurry, I was kind of busy. But I enjoyed my master's work, and it was just a blast. I was finally grew up and became a good student. I've been at Davidson Grimes for 35 years, the only job I ever had. I graduated here in 1979. and I found a home there in Davidson, it's on the other side of Des Moines, okay? I'm 56 years old, I'm married to Davidson, and I met her here, okay? We've been married 34 years, and she's an educator. She's a bureau chief at Standards Curriculum in the state of Iowa, so she's kind of a big wig. So I'm really nice to her. I have two kids. Jenna's 23, and my son Clark is 30. Okay? I'm not talking a lot about them, but my son Clark had a learning disability. It's called visual memorization learning disability. And what that means is, if you're trying to remember, you try to learn your multiplication tables, you put the flashcards up there, you still don't learn. You shake your head. You still don't know? 1 times 1. You got 1. What finger you get? When you put those flashcards up there, that means nothing to him. He can't get that. If there's a chalkboard full of notes, you know, he has a better chance of that, but it just becomes a blur to him. So it cost about $3 grand to find that out in 7th grade, and he still couldn't read. So we went, and both of his parents are educated. So we were trying to find help him. He ended up getting his college degree. So he's kind of an overachiever. My daughter, Jenna, she's a poster child for ADD. Wow. She's my home entertainment center. I want to tell you. I told her one time, I said, if you're the first one, it wouldn't be a second one. Wow, what? She is a joy of my life now. She's my best friend, and she's overcome a lot. So your parents are educators. Usually the teachers' kids are smart, right? In the National Honor Society. I mean, we had the tears around the kitchen table trying to learn the spelling words and all that. Everybody ever tears around the kitchen table? I bet you. It's okay. I won a few honors. I did pretty good. I wrestled here at William Penn University and was an All-American. I wrestled with a guy named Mike Burgraff. He's a 2-time All-American. Gary Woods, a national champ. We were 10th in the nation. Those guys are the reason why I had any success in wrestling. They're my wrestling partners, and he's pounding on me, and we had a battle every night. I loved it. I was fortunate to be a William Penn Athletic Hall of Fame. I'm in the Iowa High School Athletic Wrestling Hall of Fame, National Wrestling Hall of Fame. I serve a lot of those committees now. I was a top 8 national coach finalist of the year. I was very fortunate in my career to be around some wonderful people and some great assistants and a great community. I'm kind of big on leadership. I'll talk about it a little bit. Jason mentioned currently with the Alumni Association, the Sigma Phi Sigma Fraternity Alumni Association, correspondent secretary historian. I was a charter member that started that some 21 years ago, and I was president for 20 years. And served in our school district as a building leadership team member. Alumni associations, I'm really big about those, okay? Why? Because I think volunteerism is important. Our fraternity a few years ago when the governors had worked for volunteerism. Philanthropy, giving back to the university, and relationships that you build. That's what kept me coming back when I was in school. I mean, in the summertime would roll by, I'd been working all summer and knew what I was going to do. Like when August came around, I couldn't wait to get back to Oskaloosa, Iowa. Can you believe that? I couldn't wait to get here. Because all my friends are here, all my fraternity buddies, all the Greeks and all the stuff we did. It was great. It was a relationship, and I still have a lifelong relationship with those people today. I owe them my life, I gotta be honest with you. And all those things support William Penn University. Sigma Phi Sigma does, and the Alumni Association as well. Okay? You know, my brother Tom saw that picture on Facebook, and he said to me, man, you ever go in the elevator, the elevator shuts, and there's one guy standing there looking at you like that? But he kind of made you kind of feel like crap about that, but that's all right. Willie P. Why do I love Willie P? Around the world with Willie P. Everyone see those pictures people take them on vacation. Okay? I tell you why, education. And I want to tell you something about in relationships and diversity and opportunity. Okay? We got 3 stories I want to tell you about the education. I can tell you a couple coaches and professors that their lessons, and they didn't really talk to me individually. This in the classroom that had a profound impact on my life. And the first one, Coach Bob Spencer. He was a women's basketball coach, about this tall. Bob was a pioneer in female athletics. And he coached the women, of course, and then he taught psychology of coaching and theory of coaching and some type of things. And one day he kind of set us up. He He says, I want you to tell me who's going to write the article for your team. Let's say you're up in Lorenz Marathon, Iowa, and I didn't know where Lorenz Marathon was, but it's up in northwest Iowa. It's a little podunk, a little place. And you're going to play Alta-Ria. Never heard Alta-Ria, about the size of this room. Tuesday night, 6-on-6 girls basketball. And Iowa had 6-on-6 in 1976 and 75 and all through there. Okay, where I'm in Indiana, I never saw a 6-on-6 game. That's what that was all about. He said, I want to know who's going to write that article for your game. Of course, you all raise your hand, the newspaper reporters have come down. Or I'm going to have the president of the Booster Club going to write it, or the manager's going to write it. We're going around, he says, are you kidding me? Because you're going to write it. You think the sports editor from the Fort Dodge Messenger is going to come to Alta-Ria, Iowa to cover your 6? You're crazy. You think the Booster Club president's going to write that? You think the parents are going to write that? The manager? You're going to write it. And he said, I'll tell you what, because if you can't promote your own program, how can you expect someone else to promote it for you? And I want to tell you, I live my life by those words. I'm pretty lucky. I've had a few accolades and had a lot of success as a coach. When I coached wrestling, in 20 years, we had 77 tournament championships. 77, including a state title. And a lot of those I contribute to my classes, the women's basketball coach, Bob Spencer, who had an impact on my life. Dr. Schulte, he was the Dean of Students and Director of Education along with Dr. Gettigan. He taught me the importance of learning styles. And I want to tell you what, back in those days, they knew maybe 3 learning styles, if you could hear or see or touch or whatever. And he's kind of ahead of his time. And what he did, he had a verbal quiz, called an oral quiz, and every student in the Introduction to Education program had to set up a time with him and come to his office. And he gave us 5 questions. And we came in here and we knew he was going to ask us face-to-face, verbally, those 5 questions and had to answer. Well, I was nervous, I was sweating, so anyway, went through it easy. But you know what I discovered? He talked about, now if you're going to be a teacher, Andy, someday, you're going to have diversity in your classroom. If you're going to be a stand and deliver guy, where you stand and talk, you're going to lose most of them. Some of them need to have one-on-one attention. You're going to have to mix up your instructional style. We call it differentiating your classroom. That's what they call it now. I learned that from him. But you know what else was more important about that little visit? He found a way to sit down with each student coming into the education department and talk to us individually. That was his excuse to get it in there. It took me about 20 years to figure that one out. Dr. Schulte taught me how to do that, where you talk to individuals. And great coaches. Tom Osborne in Nebraska says you motivate teams individually. You have to show you care about each person, and that's how you motivate a team. The third one is was my wrestling coach. My senior year as a student coach for a couple of years, Coach Bill Van Horn. Bill's passed away now. And Bill, he taught me how to find and recognize talent and leadership where others may not see it. Bill Van Horn stuck up for me when I need some serious sticking up for. And I love that man. He taught me how to do that when others don't see it. And I was kind of a wild guy in college. I didn't get kicked out or anything. I just ran real fast, I guess. But anyway, others didn't think that I would probably make the best teacher or coach, to be honest. And he said, Andy Davidson is going to do fine. He loves life, he loves kids, and I can tell. And I hope I didn't let him down. God bless him. Relationships, obviously. Fraternity brothers that I lived with during that time. We'll talk a little about them a little later, about some of their accomplishments. I met my wife here. Okay, they're lifelong friends. I met them all here. Okay. I talk about diversity and opportunity. Probably the greatest thing I can say right now, on this campus as an athlete, they have 17 athletic programs here. 17 between women and female. That's unbelievable. If you're a big football fan, you guys hear about the SEC all the time, or the Louisiana guys. You get on their websites, they may have 7 men's sports. Iowa State University only has 6 men's sports. Big schools don't have that kind of diversity and opportunity you find in a place like this. You know, a good friend of mine in background, Paul Foster, he graduated a couple years before I did. He'll tell you, I mean, I walk around this place, it's unbelievable what the facilities you have. You just have nursing, the academic programs you have. It's wonderful. And the diversity, as well as diversity in programs, in people. And what we got? 42 states represented at Wayne Penn University. Well, I was in school, a lot of kids from New Jersey, New York were here, I was from Indiana. And I'm friends with a lot of those people still today, and I learned a little bit, and I got to take trips, Thanksgivings and summers and that kind of stuff. So that's another great part of Wayne Penn and why I love it. Testimony of my values. This is very important because when I get to my point about set your goals and overcoming obstacles, I think it's important that you understand kind of where I came from. Okay, it says growing up under the poverty line. Now, that is true. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say I ate dirt and I went to school both ways, uphill twice in the snow, and lived in the back of my car, because I didn't. But I didn't know I was below the poverty line, and really, until I was a senior in high school in sociology class, and they gave us that number. But I always knew we didn't have what a lot of other people did. In fact, when I entered first grade, we still went to the restroom outside. We had an outhouse. Only home on my street that did. Kind of right on the edge of town. Okay? And my brother Mike is 6 years older than me. So when I was 5, 6 years old, he was about 11. My brother Tom, 11 or 12. Brother Tom, he's about 16 months younger than Mike, and he's 5 years older than me. So those guys are in upper elementary, 6th grade, and they're still going to the bathroom outside. Can you imagine that today? There are places in this country that still happen. Now, I got lucky because my brothers were sneaking my dad's cigarettes and he burned down the outhouse. So Mom put her foot down, and that's how we got indoor toilet. That's a true story, but that's another slideshow. Okay? And I want to tell you, my neighborhood, I mean, to throw the word bully out, there were 2 families there. There were the Hawks, and there were the Taylors. And none of them were in here, so I'm going to say their names. And they were cousins. They had about 12 kids apiece. And then a couple of other cousins down the road, and aunts and uncles. And this is not a lie. There was not one high school diploma amongst any of them. And so my brothers and I, growing up, we got pushed around a little bit until we got to junior high and we discovered football and wrestling. And then we pushed back. But that's another slideshow. So that's kind of a little bit where I grew up. This letter from Vietnam. When I entered 7th grade, there was probably, I don't know how many kids, I won't say 100, I'll fill that out. There were a lot of kids out for football and didn't have enough equipment. So about 25 of us, we didn't have any shoulder pads or helmets. So we were just t-shirts and shorts about half the season and watching everybody else play. Now I was sharing a story on Veterans Day at school because the theme was my favorite veteran. It's talking about my big brother Mike. And those kids, you see their face. Can you imagine today if you showed up and you had the fractured t-shirts and shorts everybody else had? Our parents would just go crazy. They'd be out going, there'd be a lawsuit or something. My parents didn't say anything. And I went every day. And I really didn't like it. And I didn't say anything either. One day I came home from school. This is 1969. My brother's in Vietnam. I got a letter. This is from my brother Mike. I would give my right arm to have that letter today, but I don't. I wish I did. But I'm going to tell you what it said. It said, "Dear Andy, I hear you're out for football. Good on you. You work hard. Mom tells me that a lot of kids have pads and you don't have any. About 25 you don't have any." Next sentence went like this: "Keep your mouth shut. You work hard every day. You hustle every play. You do all the drills. You stand, you listen. You got to show that coach that you deserve it. You have to earn it. Nobody's ever going to give you anything. If you do that, Andy, someday you'll have your day in the sun." My senior year as captain of wrestling and football, I got the mental attitude in our school 2 years in a row. Went on as an All-American. I was the first Davidson to ever get a college degree, but I wasn't the last. Big brother Mike, the Vietnam veteran, he went on, he had to go a different way. He got his junior college degree and a 4-year degree. My big brother Mike, his nickname was Big Daddy. Wrestled heavyweight, played football, threw the shot put. Big in stature, soft heart. He's a humble man, an award-winning man. In fact, he won a medal, the Airman Service Award, while I was in Vietnam. You know how we found out about it? Dad read it in the local paper. Do you think he'd call and tell us? Never. That's not his style. My other brother Tom, retired Indiana State Trooper. Now he has a law degree. He's written 4 books. He's an adjunct professor. At one time, he was a chief hostage negotiator for the entire state of Indiana. My brothers are so smart, and they're overachievers. But they're always proud of me. I was a little jock, tagging along all the time, you know. But that's the kind of influence I have in my life. Like I say, my parents didn't have a college degree. They didn't have a high school diploma. But they said, you boys will get college education. We knew we'd have to pay for it, and we did. And I'm proud of that. Kind of gives you a little background of where I grew up, and part of me, okay? And the value of my parents' education. Next, I want to talk about what is your purpose in life. Some people value family, school, or occupation, personal interest, and faith. You need to rank the most important things in your life and what is the most value to you. You know, I heard that question when I was in high school from my high school football coach. And a certain group when I was in college asked me that question. And when I was teaching school, we had a guest speaker, Hall of Fame coach Bob Dowling. He came to our sports banquet. It was the same topic. So I've heard that theme continuously throughout my life. Now, some businesses will have like a mission statement. If you had a personal mission statement, this would be it. Those 4 things would be in your mission statement. So I want you to sit here right now. You don't have to share it with your friends or anything. Just think in your mind. Just pick those 4 things. How would you rank them? What order would you rank them? Faith, if you're a student in school, you're working for your occupation, your personal interest, maybe you're on the bowling team, who knows? And your family. And you rank those things. There's no right or wrong answer. I think it's important that you take time to think about those. And I'm going to share with you my top 4. Number 1 in my top 4 is my family. Number 2 is teaching and coaching. 3 is personal relationships. Sigma Phi Sigma fraternity is right in your number 3. I'm not going to lie to you. I love it. And my friends that I made through there, my brothers for life. And my faith. And I put that down there. Some people say, Andy, your faith should be number 1. But I want to tell you, these 4 things they're going to switch in your life. They will switch. Your personal interest will switch. And they're so close. And sometimes events, things change. But I think it's important if you rank those things in your life and have a purpose. Purpose in life is essential for success. That's my goal. I mean, that's got a nice ring to it, doesn't it? But I believe that. You know, what do you want? What do you want out of life? What are you doing here at school? Just get a college degree? Okay, what are you going to do with it? What impact are you going to have with that? Let's have a little fun. Let me ask you this. When you look at reflection, what do you see? This next little video makes you think a little bit. Go. Well, let me ask you, what do you see when you look at your own reflection? You know, I kind of like that because they're dance. I like to dance. I'm not gonna dance for you tonight, but I enjoy it. And you ever heard the expression when you dance like nobody's watching? I mean, that is enthusiasm. Walk down the hall in the morning. Hey, doing, Mr. D? And say, hey, man, every day's a holiday. How's it going? What's going on? Good looking? Ooh, look at those arms, son. You're going to be a national champ someday. It makes people feel good. It makes them smile. I said, young little lady. I said, stop. Look at me. Then you can't help but smile. So you got a beautiful smile. Let's use it. Use it. What do you see when you look at your own reflection? Every day you get up, you have a choice. You do. No one can make it for you, and no one can take it away from you. That choice is your attitude. You have the opportunity to choose your attitude every day. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself positive, successful? Do you see yourself as a failure or struggling? Ed Bennett was a national champ for University of Iowa, an Olympic gold medalist. I heard him speak one time, and he said, I never won a match I didn't expect to win. And that's a good attitude. What is your mental attitude? You need to think about that. What is your mental attitude? School's tough. You got to find a way to make it work. It's easy to say be positive all the time. I'm going to give you some things to think about. What would you do if you're Victor Frankl? Anybody know who Victor Frankl is? Like you? No, you're about ready to find out, aren't you? Attitude. Victor Frankl, MVP. He was in Austria in 1905, and he died in 1997. He's the author of Man's Search for Meaning. I'm talking about purpose, I'm talking about meaning. He's a Holocaust survivor. In October 1944, he was sentenced to Auschwitz. When he was in there, he set 3 goals. Purpose. You want to survive, help as many people as you could, and to learn something. When I first studied about Victor Frankl, that's the one that got me. I wanted to learn something. I mean, you're in the midst of man at its lowest inhumanity. There's death all around you, filth and stench. And he's talking about learning something. Inspired him to write Man's Search for Meaning. You got to think about purpose. He discovered those who had some kind of purpose in their life, their odds of surviving were increased. He said, we are no longer able to change our situation. We are challenged to change ourselves. My son has a learning disability. He will have that the rest of his life. He can't change that. But he had to change himself in a way, and he had lots of help to overcome that obstacle. Overcoming an obstacle. This has got AD's twist on goal setting and motivation. So take it for what it's worth and hopefully help you. I think your purpose in life will motivate you to reach your goals. Your purpose in life. I had you rank those 4 things. That should be motivating. You know what? If your goal is to have $1 million house, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, if that's a value for you, if that's your purpose, it should motivate you to reach your goals. So you need to know what your purpose is and what you desire. Attitude will determine your willingness for change to overcome obstacles. You have to be willing to change to make that happen. You have to evolve. Setting a timeline is important to keep you on track. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Or right now in school, if you're a sophomore, you want to be graduating, you know. You want to be getting that diploma and walk across that stage and out in the front lawn, had the big blue and gold ceremony, and kept that ribbon. I hope I'm there, and I hope I get to cut the ribbon. Kind of make it a habit of going. It's a lot of fun. Okay? But where do you want to be in 5 years? You need to think about that. Where do you want to be in 10 years? You got to have a plan. Have a plan to overcome barriers such as being at risk and learning disability. Develop a plan for success. Now your barriers can be more than just learning disability. It can be finances. It could be a lot of things. A plan for success is called a strategy. I teach my PE kids this, believe it or not. They look at me like I'm nuts. You're a freshman. Seek a mentor to help you develop a strategic plan. This is critical. Okay. I know the Alumni Association and the university started the mentor program, junior, seniors, as career mentor. There is an opportunity. But you got professors, you got all kinds of people on campus. Your mentor could be somebody from home, it could be somebody at town. Somebody who cares about you. But seek a mentor to help you develop a strategic plan. You don't have to do it by yourself. I think it's critical. If developing a strategy was easy, then no athletic team would ever need a coach. And think about that. They all account for all factors in your plan. If you're coaching a basketball game, you got the offense, you got the defense, you got to consider your opponent, your experience on the team, the talent you have on the team, your skill level, all those things you have to take into consideration. And that's hard to do. So everybody needs a coach. So in your life, you got to consider your factors, your finances, your friends, parents, your school. Do you have barriers in front of you? You got to take all that consideration. This next one is very important. Be your own advocate. As a college student, you have to be your own advocate. You have to. Not high school anymore, and no more hand holding. But you got a resource program here. You have things here in place to help you. You have to learn to stick up for yourself and be proactive. Don't wait till your midterm grades come out. Oops. You're looking at each other. Don't wait till then. You need to be getting after it before then. Have a report person. Have somebody who cares about you. May not be your mentor, maybe your roommate. Okay, I got to get this done by this date. I want you to get after me. Make sure I'm on it. Have a report person. It helps. It really does. Work hard, but it's equally as important to work smart. Again, the biggest example I think is cramming the night before finals. Are you kidding me? That's working hard, but that's not working smart. You won't remember that stuff anyway. Statistics prove that. You have to be working on that weeks in advance, a little bit at a time. We learn best in small chunks. There's a saying in education, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You can't devour it all at once. Same thing with your schoolwork. You got to take a little bit at a time and build on it and prepare for that. That's working smart. Are you at risk in school? Now I entered school in 1963. 20 years later, they came up with the term at risk. The National Commission of Excellence in Education. A nation at risk. I would teach in school. Wow, that said everybody over here. Okay? At-risk students, by virtue of circumstances, statistically, I like that word, more likely to fail academically. Here's some at-risk labels. I got a couple things highlighted I'll talk about in a minute. Social economic, living single home, change of school, non-traditional time, being held back, having other siblings who left high school, and negative peer pressure. Okay? That's from the national. Expanding the definition of at-risk students. Today, we could say poor technology skills. Students have changed schools 2 or more times. Students have had grades C or lower in 6th, 8th grade. And English as a second language. Physically challenged, emotionally challenged. Adult learners who return to school after years away from the classroom. And combining characteristics with one or more at-risk factors. I'm going to go back real quick. The highlighted ones are the ones that put me at risk. Our parents never moved from our house. Went to 3 elementary schools in a row. 3 different ones. One school was built onto the school. First quarter, we went to school a half a day. I was in 3rd grade. 4th grade, I went to a different school. We kept realigning the school borders and that kind of thing. And I was really sick. I had ears, nose, and throat problem and missed a lot of school. And there was something else, maybe Foster remember this, called new math. New math was horrible. It's amazing how politics tried to solve their problems in school. The Russians put up Sputnik, satellite, So they want to make all us elementary kids into engineers and stuff. So they did binumeral math, who knows? I don't know what it is. They don't learn it then. I don't know now. The way it is. I was behind. There's no question about it. I suffered in 6th and 7th grade. 8th grade is a little better. And you put 2 or 3 of those things together, and that could put you at risk. You may have all those and do just fine. But I struggled with it. And I still struggle at higher level math. There's no question about it. Almost done here. Bear with me. Success in college for adults with learning disabilities. You need to know yourself. You need to know what your disability is, your strengths and your weaknesses. You have to be responsible for self-identification and self-advocacy. I can't stress that enough. But have people help you and have programs here in place to do that. But I think the last one is huge. You can read it for yourself. But what it means is you have to be able to articulate your learning disability. If you have dyslexia, you need to say, I have a dyslexia. You may have to practice saying it. So you're able to tell your professor, I have dyslexia. And here's what dyslexia is. When I see words, I transverse and all like that. You need to understand what that is. And can I have the following accommodations to help me pass your class? It's easy. You know what? You know your report person, your mentor, what you do is write a little speech and you practice saying it. I've done it. And once you practice saying it and you articulate it, you become a better self-advocate. It does work. But you have to be able to say what your deal is here. This is from the William Penn website. You got Academic Resource Center. All the tutors available for that type of thing. There's a philosophy, mission statement. Student with disabilities, that's from the William Penn website as well. We have the American Disabilities Act, those type of things. That's where you find it. And AD's advice. Be true to your purpose and values. Be honest with yourself. And just be yourself. Be honest with yourself. Develop strong attitude toward reaching your goals. Self-advocate. Know your strengths and weaknesses. Make a plan and stick to it. Seek advice. And this one is a big one. A 10 class. If I can tell you one thing, that's a 10 class. 90% of success is showing up. Woody Allen said that. I don't like Woody Allen, but I like things. A 10 class. I'll tell you a little story about our third brother. Surround yourself with winners. This is probably the quote you're going to remember. If you lay down with the dogs, you're going to get up with the fleas. You need to surround yourself with people who have like interests, who want to succeed. And you know what I'm talking about. Okay, you know what I'm talking about. I lived with about 6 guys for 3 years. And I want to tell you, our number one thing was go to class. And we were wild. We had dorm wars. I can tell you stories. I won't tell you. I'm going to give you some anecdotes. But I'm telling you, you mean to tell me you can't go uptown on Monday night, dollar picture night, and you get up for $7.50? You big sissy boy, get out of bed. I mean, that's what the kind of stuff we did to each other. It's horrible. Nobody skipped class. We were on each other, sit in the front row, wear your fraternity jacket, show some pride, go to class, get your degree. That's the kind of stick. We put it quite so nice that way, but that's what he said. And that's gospel. I'm not lying to you. Walt Disney. Dreams can distract you from the negative events in life. In your dreams, you will come to appreciate the experience of failure and know that failure is just part of success. You become an interesting person when you show others you have meaning, direction, and purpose. So there's that meaning and purpose again. I want to tell you about the guys I live with, and then we're going to quit. I live with a man named Tom Cabajo. Tom Cabajo is probably the picture of ADD. Paul knows that. I want to tell you, I've been teaching for 35 years. He's in the William Penn Athletic Hall of Fame. He was influential in the state of Kansas in coaching. He's a winner. And been teaching for 35 years, all the same school. I was his best man, he was my best man in 1979. 10 years later, almost to the day, I was his best man. Tom Cabajo. Another guy I live with is Dr. Richard Spencer. Dr. Richard Spencer could spell or write his name right now if I brought him in here. You can't understand. He'd come in and ask me how to spell. Are you kidding me? He's in trouble. Ask me how to spell. Went on to med school, He's a doctor, podiatrist, has a satellite series. He's retired now. A satellite series in Southern Iowa. Brent Hughes, 35-year teacher veteran, close to the top honors in Dr. Dross' program. A very respected teacher in his school. Randy Smith took the top honors in Dr. Dross' program. He works for Lennox Corporation. He has 3 United States patents. Dr. Leon Connor, he's a veterinarian. Dr. Connor is probably, the head probably comes on my shoulder. He's got a bone disease. He's been extremely short all his life. He's had to overcome obstacles. He's a veterinarian, has a very successful practice in Topeka, Kansas. That's who I lived with. Then there was me, the rest of them. That's who I lived with. I don't know how I was able to live with the greatest bunch of guys on the planet, but I did. And the influence they had in my life, we're still tight today. Half of them went on a cruise last summer in Alaska. Those are the type of values that you can get at William Penn. God bless you. Thanks for coming, and best of luck to you. Any questions? Want to hear him talk? We can sure do that. Good luck to you. Hopefully you got one good idea. Kids, there's lots of candy. Please take it.